let's run it. Charts up, we love it. Charts up, we love it. GM, good morning, we run it. Sunrise hits like a highlight reel. Coffee poured, yeah, this grind feel real. Wallet looking healthy like a post-gym meal. Crypto fam locked in, no off-day deals. Throwing shade, now we throw confetti. Market bounce back, hands strong, we steady. Dreams too big, so the doubts feel petty. Bull mode hitting, hope you're ready. We ain't stressing, we pressing, blessing the session. Turn every rejection to fuel for progression. Charts look clean, yeah, the vibe is a weapon. We build every day, this is compounding lessons. GM, we rise, we go. Good morning, crypto, steal the show. GM, get hype, let's grow. Another day up, yeah, we glow. Hands to the sky like let's get paid. Chase big goals, not just upgrades. GM bowl energy all day. Smile up, we're built this way. No fear, just flips and vibes. Turning old dreams into real life strides. Hard days hit, we don't divide. Team eats together when the market rides. Tap in early, that sunrise hustle. Bear tried to break us, couldn't touch muscle. Stack small wins, that's compound muscle. Every new block, another flex, no struggle. Climb fast, no breaks, no doubt. Big cheers when the green breaks out. Crypto fam in the chat, full shout. We don't clock in, we break out. Oh, 3 a.m. we rise, we go. Good morning, crypto, steal the show. GM, get hype, let's grow. Every candle's just fuel, let's blow. We don't watch life, we make waves. Another sunrise, another brave day. GM fam, let's go be great. Good morning, crypto. Press play. Wake up, smile, send it.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, grow hard out what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good work there. There we go. Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge and financial freedom. As you know, that mic always tends to not work first thing, but glad I caught it bright and early. We did get our rate cut, which was widely expected yesterday, but we also got some things from Jerome Powell that are worth talking about, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. We do have some charts to go over today. We got some movements going on this morning. We did get some nice rips and dips off of the FOMC yesterday, and we'll see if we can get some continuation, not towards the upside, but towards the downside, because that's kind of what things are looking like this morning. But before we get to all of that, let's hop on over to that stock heat map and see what's going on. Let me get that screen pulled up. There we go. We've got Apple looking a little bit towards the upside this morning. Was sitting up 0.58 from its close yesterday, up 0.17 this morning. Nvidia saw a little bit of a sell-off yesterday, down 0.64, continuing on that sell-off this morning, down 1.64. We've got Berkshire Hathaway down 0.2 from its close, up 0.08 this morning. Amazon was sitting up 1.69 from its close yesterday, sitting towards the downside this morning, down 0.6. We've got Eli Lilly up 1.16 off of its close, getting a nice move in the pre-market this morning, up 2.65%. We've got ExxonMobil sitting up 1.09 from its close and down 0.3% this morning. Tesla got a nice little move towards the upside yesterday, 1.41%, but looking down 0.77 this morning. P&G also looked a little bit nice yesterday, up 0.14 and continuing to see a little bit of buy pressure this morning, up 0.32. We've got Microsoft with the big sell-off yesterday, down 2.74 and continuing towards the downside this morning, down 0.66%. We've got Google sitting up a full percent from its close yesterday, but seeing a little bit of sell pressure this morning, down 0.34. And Meta, to wrap that on out, was sitting down a full percent off of its close, almost down another full percent this morning. Not looking too good for the stocks this morning. We'll kind of have to see what's going on in the crypto market and if we're also going to get some of those same kind of moves. So we've got these massive red bubbles here, like ADA sitting down almost 10%. And, we kind of warned about some downside levels yesterday. We did get a massive push towards the upside, but got the correction after Jerome Powell stopped speaking. We got that massive move directly back to where we had started the day from. So we'll kind of have to see if we're going to get some of those same moves break below our support and then continue to those levels we had been talking about at the beginning of the week. We've got Bitcoin down 2% this morning. We've got Ethereum down 3.6, XRP down 2.8. BNB sitting down 2.1%, seeing just a little bit of green on the hourly. We've got Solana down 4.5. I'm sure JR Short did quite nice on that Solana. We've got Tron sitting up 0.4%, but seeing some red on the hourly. We've got Dogecoin down 5.2. Cardano, like we said, almost down 10%. We've got Bitcoin Cash down 1.6. We've got Chainlink down 3.8. Leo token down 1%, seeing a little bit of green on the hourly. Stellar Lumens down 3%. We've got Hyperliquid down 6.2%. That was something I was talking about for a short the other day. We've got Litecoin down 3.7 and Shui taking a spot in the market cap from Avalanche, sitting down 3.9. For our fear and greed meters, stock side still sitting in some fear, up a point from yesterday after we got a little bit of some green in the markets. Might see that correction back down towards some extreme fear if we continue to see some sell-off though. Crypto markets getting that nice little move towards the upside. Looks like we could get a little bit of a fake out on this one now as we're starting to see some corrections back down. We're barely above extreme fear, so to see us head back towards extreme fear would not be too unexpected if we're going to come up here and start grabbing up some of our bottom side liquidity. Let's get this adjusted to 0.8 so we can see that liquidity a little bit better here. The short is doing great. The long is mad at me. Yep, knew it, JR. We've got a little bit of liquidity on both sides of us as we are doing just a little bit of range in this morning. We've got some directly below us at 89,400 to 89,000. And we've got some directly towards the upside at 91,000. We'll kind of have to see if we're just going to do a little bit more ranging this morning with London's session and then start grabbing up some liquidity a little bit later. We do have that 3-day also looking a little bit bare. So we do have some that's up above us on the higher term time frame, and we've just got that nice little bit of liquidity directly underneath us. You really got to zoom this on out a little bit further to start seeing those big hot spots on the higher term time frame. As you can see here, this hot spot down here starting to heat up a little bit on that 1 week, and you got to zoom this on out just a little bit further on that 2 to that 2 week to really see liquidity. We've really cleared out a lot of the liquidity in our local areas, and we've got that liquidity back up towards the top side at 95,000. Guess I gotta zoom it out a little bit further there. 1 month chart to really see that downside liquidity. Yep, all the way down here below our range. We will kind of have to see if we're gonna keep continuing with our sideways range here like we've been talking about. Are seeing just a little bit of some flagging action, and then that normally breaks towards the downside. So a lot of liquidity down here to really keep your eyes on. But we will take this level by level, hop over to that Bitcoin chart, and say good morning to the people. Let's see what's going on in the chat. If you got any alt requests or stock requests, go ahead and throw them out now. We will get those on the list and get to them in just a little bit. We've got Jesse Gluck first in the house this morning. Good morning, good morning. We've got Caliphant in here as well. Good morning, good morning. She said she might be up, she might fall asleep. Saw her in the chat a little bit later, so she must have stayed awake. We've got Steve Hickey in here. Good morning, good morning. We've got Alexandra G in the house. Good morning, good morning. She said she was going to be listening in. I'm sure she's getting ready for some work. We've got Donato Cabrera in the house. We've got Curtis Hill in here. Scrolling on down, we've got Noob Gecko 98 saying good morning, y'all. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great day so far. Let's see who else we got in here. Caliphant coming back. We've got Rug Pulling Rabbit, aka Jay, in the house. Good morning, good morning. We've got JR in here. Good morning, good morning. Everyone, how goes the printage? Well, I woke up a little bit late, so I am not printing just yet. I will wait to see if we break some support here, which we will talk about in just a second, and then see if we can get that bigger short towards the downside. Let's see who else we got in here. We got Redmond in the house. Good morning, good morning. We've got Jack Trades in here. Good morning. We've got Ryan Smith in here as well. Good morning to you. All right, let's get ASTS on the list here. That's a stock. Let me get that on the stock side. We got any alt requests that I missed? Not looking like it just yet. All right. Well, I got ASTS on the list there, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. All right, let's dive into this Bitcoin chart, see what's going on the daily time frame, because we were talking about hopium here on the daily. We've still got one little bit of hopium to kind of keep your eye on here, and that's going to be our money flow. Everything else is starting to look a little bit iffy. As you can see, you've got that MACD starting to get that roll over here. You've got that prime oscillator sitting in the green, but starting to get a roll over. Your volume is a little bit higher, and your money flow has started to slow down on that sell pressure. Let me get that moved over a little bit so you can see that better. We'll get this pulled up here. We've got that money flow starting to get that pull back towards the upside here. So we'll kind of have to see if we can get that break back into some buying pressure here, or if this is just going to be a nice little fake out, get some continued rollover for some lower lows on that money flow. As you can see, we are holding some support here on the daily time frame. Those candles seem to get that nice little bounce off of 89,600 there over and over again. It does look just a little bit weak though. We got a bit of a wick below that, and we'll kind of have to see if we can continue to hold that on the shorter term time frame. We were calling out that midline of the fair value gap, or this 89,600. We'll kind of have to see what goes on here as we get this rollover. Do we have more continued sideways price action, hold our 382 that is below us, or do we continue with a stronger downside move? That is the two kind of things I'm looking at here. This 4 hour is getting just a little bit of some positive news, but you've got your red money flow. So we'll kind of have to see if we can get some secondary bouncing off of our support area at 89,600. really continue with that cool off here on the 4-hour, get that curvature back towards the upside, or if we're just going to continue with that sell off pressure here, because this move towards the upside didn't really give you much buying pressure to overwhelm that sell pressure. We saw a lot of exhaustion coming on in. We've got that 4-hour really strong support resistance way up here at 96,700. We never even got close to it. So a lot of resistance directly above us, and we're starting to lose what little bit of buying pressure we did have on the shorter term time frame, and headed right back to that sell pressure. We do have a little bit of a lack of volume, so we'll see if we can get that pickup of volume at some lower levels here. Taking a look at this 1 hour, getting a little bit of some hopium here, but it is starting to lose a little bit of money flow. So we'll get this pulled up here, see what's going on. As you can see, we got that nice little push towards the upside with that pump yesterday. Really stagnating here on the hourly. We will kind of have to see if this prime oscillator is going to continue on towards the upside there, or if we're going to get that curvature back towards the downside, which it's starting to look like it's already doing. So nice little possibility for a double bottoming here at that 89,600 area, and we'll see how price reacts and if we can get that pickup of volume and a little bit of buying pressure coming on in. If we cannot get that around that 89,600, looking back towards the downside of our fair value gap, or towards the downside of our volume down here at about 86,800 would be that move to watch for. That is where we got a lot of price action at, and that'd be that secondary level I'd kind of keep my eye on for some bottoming here if you don't see that volume pick up around 89,600. Let's take a look at that 15-minute and the morning, and then hop over to some news articles here. We got that London session really moving sideways. We were talking about that this morning, really getting that rollover here on the 15-minute on that MACD and prime oscillator as well, as you're starting to see that money flow really stay in some selling pressure. You're getting a bit of a pickup of volume here, and we'll see if that can at least overwhelm some of that sell pressure that we're getting, continue with our sideways movement before you really see that sell pressure overwhelm the buying pressure and get that harsher sweep towards the downside. So kind of what we're looking like here. If you do get that lack of volume, that slow up, then you could see that harsher move towards the downside. That really gives you that better cool off here. That also give you a double bullish divergence and an ability to see just a little bit of a pump towards the upside on that New York session. So keep your eyes on that. I'm not seeing any other alt requests this morning. We've got Al Jr. in the house. Good morning. We've got Brian Rhodes in here as well. Good morning. Let's see. We've got Ada Ace in here. Good morning. We got a few content creators, so let's drop those channels in here. Here's Ada Ace's channel for you. Obviously, he does a lot with Ada. So if you like that Ada community, go ahead, check his channel out, give him a subscribe. We've also got JR in here. Let's drop his channel real quick too. Go ahead, give him a follow. He's been going live directly before me, and he's been going live in the afternoon as well. Can you take a look at Hype? Most definitely we can do that one. We were talking about a little bit of downside potential on Hype yesterday, as it was pretty much doing the opposite of the rest of the market. When the rest of the market was red, it was sitting in the green. So we were looking at a little bit of some downside potential, pretty much exactly what it got yesterday, with a lot of that move off of FOMC. So let's get over to that news article real quick. We will take a look at some of those alt requests, and we did have a few stocks to go over as well. We've got AVAX on the list. Let's get that up there. Not too many peeps talk about XRP. Yeah, I mean, I've got a few people in my personal life that talk about XRP, but XRP kind of had its whole thing in the crypto space last cycle, and then people have been trying to chase those movements, the same kind of movement that all the other cryptos have gotten before. They're trying to find that next one. And as the crypto market grows and grows and grows, a lot of those dino coins really get left to the side. But those are the coins that really got that nice move towards the upside. So we will take a look at, we can take a look at XRP as well. Let's get that one on the list. I like XLM, just for full transparency there. So XRP, XLM over XRP in my eyes. But that's mainly just because XRP has that massive entity that is behind it, and XLM does not. So I've got a few criteria that keep me from investing in cryptos, and one of those is a team driving the ship. So that's my big criteria, that a company cannot be behind the movements of a crypto or the decisions. We've got Mark Dutch in the house. If you've got those wooden clog emojis, go ahead and drop them in there. Looks like a JR just dropping that wooden shoe for him. There we go. Let's dive into this news article, because there's a bit to break down from that. We've got FOMC cuts interest rates for the third straight meeting, but like we've talked about before, the dissent keeps growing. And Jerome Powell addressed that in the meeting with some of the questions that he was just softball lobbed after his little speech. He also talked about AI a few times, so we'll get into all of that here shortly. But as widely expected, the Federal Open Market Committee reduced its benchmark interest rates by 25 basis points on Wednesday. It's the third straight cut as the Federal Reserve's monetary policy arm sought to balance its dual mandate of full employment and price stability. Policy easing brought the federal funds rate target range to 3.5% to 3.75%, its lowest level in 3 years. The decision showed an increased number of dissents, with 3 voting members disagreeing with the majority. Fed Governor Stephen Moran preferred a 50 basis point rate cut, while the Kansas Fed President Jeffrey Schmid again preferred to keep the rate unchanged. This time, Chicago Fed President Austin Goolsbee also preferred no rate change. The last time the FOMC had 3 dissents to a decision was 2019. So there was quite a bit that was talked about in the speech afterwards. This doesn't have a whole lot more, but this was addressed in Jerome Powell's speech. Let me get up full screen there, get a drink of coffee real quick, and then we will dive into some of what he said on that speech, because it was quite interesting, and a lot of it was missed and isn't really being talked about. So he was asked several times about why there's a positive outlook on some of the Fed's numbers that are kind of giving them that outlook that jobs might grow. And he was asked several times, is AI the reason that you have this positive outlook going into 2026? And pretty much his answer was yes, that he is kind of banking on the fact that AI will give the American economy a boost and will continue to be a growing sector as everything else kind of gets hit. He did talk about tariffs a little bit, saying that tariffs are more of a short-term problem. We can source goods from other areas, which, that was kind of the whole goal of tariffs. So he's not that worried about tariffs, and he's not that worried about jobs, and he's not that worried about inflation, although he would like to get inflation back to that 2% mandate that the Fed has. The biggest problem here is that you're choosing to cut rates when we're at 3%, hoping to spur the job market, though no one's really that worried about the job market. And he said, even though we didn't get jobs numbers for like 3 months, this is the job numbers. So I don't know really what he's basing the data off of, especially when you're seeing Places like Amazon cut 600,000 jobs. Yeah, the job market's great, bro. Yeah, you're not that worried about it, and inflation isn't that big of a worry. When we're seeing inflation at 3% and continuing to grow, and we'll kind of have to keep our eyes on this. The other big thing he talked about was our local banking problem. This is something we've talked about here on Piper Academy as well. You've been seeing a big struggle in your local banks, and he didn't really say that we're going to start QE, but he did say that they would start buying up short-term bonds. This is a form of QE, but not directly QE. YouTube errors. So that's why JR was having some problems this morning. It is YouTube, it is not us. So looks like YouTube is having some problems this morning. So if the stream does some cutting on out, that is on YouTube, and YouTube, as always, needs to get their poop in a group. But we're at an interesting level where we're going to start seeing the Fed start buying up some short-term bonds. This will give you some short-term boosts. He said he was going to be spending $40 billion in January, $40 billion in February, and $40 billion in March to buy up short-term bonds, really give those local banks a little bit of a boost. But that does nothing for the actual economy. You will still be getting hurt because the only people that are going to be doing okay is the banks, the businesses, and the billionaires. So anyone else is going to still feel that pain, because the only thing that's actually going to help the economy in the more longer run and actually bring those borrowing rates down is buying up long-term bonds. So this is all just a shell game. They're trying to keep it afloat, put a little more money in the economy in the short term, but actually fix nothing in the long term. So keep your eyes. 2026 could start to get a little bit ugly, especially as they're trying to cut rates, put a little more money in there, but actually do nothing to help the big actual 10-year yield. So keep your eyes on that. Let's dive into some of these charts, and then we'll get to some of those alt requests. We got Jay Violet in here. Good morning, good morning. We've got Losan Cryptos in here as well. Good morning to you. Let's see, did we have any requests coming in while I was on my little rant? Short XRP to zero, says Kelvin. Oh boy, that's a more spicy take than I got on XRP. Let's see what's going on with some gold, because as you know, I love gold, and we've been seeing some continued ranging action here on gold, and it does look a little bit nice. We keep bumping up against our resistance area, and we've been trying to get some cool off on the higher term time frame. 4 hour did get a little bit of a break into the green here on our prime oscillator. We've got a little bit of sideways momentum coming in here, not too unexpected after this long range of sideways momentum here. We're really waiting to see this next little boost of some money flow coming on in. As you can see, you had that brief visit into some buying pressure, a little visit into some selling pressure, and then we're trying to maintain some of this buying pressure here. You're looking a little bit toppy here on the 4 hour, bumping up against some of what was resistance before, and we'll kind of have to see if we can find our support back at the fair value gap top, or if we're going to get that nice stronger bounce off of 4,155 to get that stronger break through our resistance here. So keep your eyes on some of those levels towards the downside. It does look like we're getting a little bit of a rollover on gold, but we've got this nice solid range here that we've been maintaining, and your daily still looks pretty nice as well. As you can see, we're just getting that nice little sideways momentum on that MACD and indicator line here, and you've actually got some curvature back towards the upside on the daily here. So gold looking kind of nice if you can get a little cool off on the shorter term time frame to get that stronger break through our resistance area and a stab at all-time highs again. So keep your eyes on some of that movement here. You do have that hourly also doing some of that same thing as we were looking at across the board, getting a little bit of some curvature here. A little bit of a curvature towards the downside on that prime oscillator. As you can see, our money flow is stagnating just a little bit. So to get that nice, better cool off, I would look for that stronger push towards the downside that gives you that cool off across the board, allows for money flow to come back in with some strength, give you that pickup of volume, because you're starting to lose that volume here on the hourly as well. You've got that 15-minute and the morning getting a little bit of a rollover here, just a little bit of some sideways ranging to try to cool off some of this. Your money flow sitting heavily in the red on the shorter term time frame, but you're starting to lose a lot of the volume. So we will kind of have to see if we get that pushback towards the upside. 4,235, see that come in as some resistance all over again, and push us with some strength a little bit towards the downside to allow for that better cool off on that mid time frame and allow for that pumping on the higher term time frame. So watch that money flow. It does seem to be coming out a little bit this morning, and that as we bump up against resistance over and over again. So potential for some pumping on the higher term time frames. Shorter term time frames do look a little bit iffy. We did talk about silver the other day as well. So let's get some silver pulled on up here. Zoom this on out. Take a look at our daily time frame. As you can see, we got those all-time highs on silver again. This is not too unexpected. You know, we did get that nice little move up towards the upside with the FOMC. Saw the sell-off right afterwards. We're starting to print a little bit of an iffy candle here. We'll have to see if we can get a little continuation as this money flow has broken into the red here on the daily time frame. I see Sol on the list. Let's get that one on there. We got Solana. We'll get to that in just a little bit here. Silver breaking this nice little cup and handle, making some all-time highs, and we're really waiting to see if we can get some retests of some lower levels here. As your daily time frame is looking extremely toppy, you're starting to get that sideways momentum coming in on that MACD. Prime oscillator also heading directly sideways. As this money flow continues to stay in the red on the shorter term time frame, we'll kind of have to see if we can get some a little bit of cool off here. I would look back down towards that $58 range, or a better test at 55.68, which is the 1618 on our fib extension levels. Let's get this zoomed on in. Take a look at a 4-hour here. As you can see, 4-hour is also pretty toppy here. You've got that lower high coming in on the MACD, looking like a nice strong bearish divergence here. That could really give you that little better cool off towards the downside. Like we were talking about, that $58 range would be a nice little bouncing area. Stronger cool off here on the 4-hour, and the hourly's also looking quite similar. As you ranged a little bit sideways here, you've got that sideways action coming on in on that MACD, but it's getting some curvature back towards the downside as your money flow is really starting to stagnate here at this $62 range. Prime oscillator also getting that curvature back down. As you can see, you've got that very strong bearish divergence on that MACD. This one's not showing up on that prime oscillator though. You've got a bearish divergence here as well. So we'll kind of have to see if that gives us that stronger push towards the downside. You got about 59, 57 being a retest of the highs from back here, or seeing that stronger level back down at support, which was 58, that 57.07 to about $58. So nice little range to potentially see some buying action coming back on silver. We'll kind of have to see what happens with that market open this morning. I am kind of favoring just a little bit of downside. 15-minute is looking a little bit cooled off here, but the big worry is that you're starting to lose your buying pressure. So we'll kind of have to see if we're going to get that stronger push towards the downside, really cool off some of those midterm time frame areas. Let's see, we got, is that Wick in the house this morning? Oh, Chadwick in here. I got Solana on the list. We've got Dusty Hunt in here. Good morning, good morning. We've got Robert Mulligan as well. Good morning, good morning. Let's get over to some of those alt requests. I was looking at XMR the other day. It seems to be doing its own thing here, just more in the crypto markets. Nice little moves towards the upside. Got a lot of resistance at that platinum pocket in $418. But looking a little bit different than the rest of the crypto market has. So let's get into some of those alt requests first. We had Solana, XRP, AVAX, and Hype. Let's get XRP pulled up first. Nice sell off back to a range we've talked about before. That's $2.10 to about $2.20. Nice old fair value gap that we've kept our eye on. This is the daily time frame here. This is pulled back from way back there. I believe it was an hourly one too, from way back here. Let's get it zoomed out. I think it was from way back here. Yeah, nice little fair value gap. That's been a testing area over and over again. We're trying to hold the bottom side of it right now. So let's get that zoom back out. Take a look at the daily time frame. Just so you could, I just zoomed into the hourly so you can see where we pulled that fair value gap from. You can see how much testing we've got on those levels before. Looking like we got that nice little push off yesterday, that actually 2 days ago, and then we've continued to see just a little bit of sell off here. Celephant saying YouTube has been buggy. Yeah, for me, it's showing up an error saying that YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. But on my end, I'm seeing absolutely zero errors. So it's all just a YouTube thing this morning. I don't know what they've got going on, but they got to get their poop in a group. So seeing a little bit of some sell off after a rejection off of the midline, off of the top side of that fair value gap. Daily candle starting directly at the midline of that, and you got that continued push towards the downside. We've been seeing that rollover here on the prime oscillator. MACD also at a iffy point as well, trying to break below that indicator line, and we'll just kind of have to watch our money flow here. X works. Okay, well, if you follow me on X, I've got my stream over there as well. Let me see. Let me get my X pulled up real quick. I will share that in the YouTube chat. Follow me on X if you're not. Let me get my profile pulled up. Share that on out with you. So here we go. I'm streaming over on X if you got that, so you can watch the video there. It looks to be smooth streaming. So all right, got that shared on out with you. So XRP seeing just a little bit of some rollover here on the daily time frame. We'll look to see if we can get a little bit of money flow coming back in here on the on that midterm time frame. As you can see, we've got that sideways action on the bottom side of that fair value gap. Seeing that nice support coming in at $1.99. That's the area where we get that wicking action on the higher term time frame over and over again, looking like it's flagging on out just a little bit here, and we'll kind of have to see if we can get that continued rollover or if you can get a little money flow coming back in to break back into that old fair value gap. That'd be that area I'd kind of keep my eye on. That's about $2.02 there. We're getting some continued rollover here on the hourly though. You've got that nice little sideways momentum coming on in on that MACD, and it's starting to get just a little bit of rollover. Same as that prime oscillator. You're getting some oversold signals and some clipping on that true 7, but without some money flow, it's not going to do a whole lot. Let's keep our eyes on this shorter term time frame, see what's going on with that 15-minute in the morning to see if you can get any kind of money flow that's going to give you that push back towards the upside, or if you're just going to keep it bouncing against resistance like we have been across the board, and then get that harsher correction towards the downside. If you are going to correct more towards the downside there, you do have a few levels to kind of keep your eye on. That's going to be this range right here. You've got a $1.96. That'd be that first real area to keep your eye on. Coming in from our highs here. Screw that magnet. It's so annoying sometimes. There we go. That's where we got our most touches. Let's get that a little bit thicker so you know it's a stronger support area. And the one below that is coming in way down here at our lows, about $1.88. So let's get that one pulled on up. There we go. $1.88 being that next real level towards the downside to keep your eye on if you continue to lose that money flow. So keep your eyes on those lower levels. That give you a better cool off and a better ability for some bouncing action. If you can't hold any of that, it looks like you'd be making your way a little further down, and we've got $1.81 being our true low back there. And we'd really have to zoom this on out to that daily time frame to see levels below that. So keep your eye on that. Hope you can hold $1.96 for some better bouncing action, and if not, it doesn't look very pretty there. So let's take a look at some Solana, see what's going on there. We've got Solana with its continued sideways range there. We'd have to zoom this on in to see that just a little bit better. So we got that sell off pretty much across the board like we were talking about after a priced in rate cut. So that's why we didn't see a whole lot of continuation towards the upside. We did see a lot of up and down during the FOMC, but not a whole lot of continuation after the FOMC. Not too unexpected there after it was mostly priced in, and this daily time frame looking extremely iffy. You are getting that rollover of volume all over again. So as you can see, we got a nice little move of volume in, really failed to beat any of the sell pressure, and then that volume starting to come back out here. You get that nice move towards the upside, and that prime oscillator starting to roll over here, and that MACD getting that same kind of move that Bitcoin was, where we got that nice rollover on that, looking like you're going to get that stronger move towards the downside unless you can see something start to change up here. So let's get this zoomed on in, take a look at our 4 hour here. 4 hour getting some bouncing around that 130 area, starting to see just a little bit of some money flow, and our first bottoming signals here. So a little bit of hopium here on the 4 hour, but unless we can maintain some of this buying pressure, then you're going to continue back to some levels we've called out before, and that's $125.65. That is the golden pocket on our fib retracements, and it has been our nice little support area. We do have some wicking action a little bit below that. Equal candle bodies coming in at $123. So that's that real area to kind of look below that golden pocket. Let's get that pulled on up here. We've got that support line at 123.63. So that's that area to kind of keep your eye on if we don't hold that golden pocket. Nice little visit below would give you that cool off on the shorter term time frame here on the hourly. As you can see, this hourly is getting a little bit of some curvature back towards the upside, but like we've talked about, you're lacking buying pressure pretty much across the board. You got that nice strong move in, making a lower high on that money flow, and then really seeing that sell pressure overwhelm things. We will kind of have to see if we're going to get that roll over here on that prime oscillator, just like we were talking about on some other assets, and then continue through our support area at like 128 and retest on that golden pocket. If you can get some money flow coming on in on the shorter term time frame, you do have a resistance coming up, or strong resistance coming on in at 133. You can see we're retesting on the lows from back here, really failing. As you can see, this 15-minute in the morning, really getting some strong selling pressure here. We'll kind of have to see if that continues. especially as we fail to get above our support area, looking like you could get that harsher correction towards the downside if this money flow really does continue. Really getting heated up here with a lack of push towards the upside. So definitely looking a little bit iffy on Solana. I would favor a little bit of some lower levels, and that first real level is coming in at that golden pocket area if you don't hold a 128.37. That has been an area of support before, and a support back here as well. So few areas towards the downside to really keep your eye on. You could get that stronger overheating with that push towards 133.40 before that harsher move towards the downside though. We got LBC in the house. Good morning, good morning. It looks like YouTube is messing up this morning. JR's stream was all messed up. So is mine. I am streaming over on X, and it looks like we've got quite a bit of viewers over there. And Kelvin saying it is streaming perfectly. So I'm glad I dual cast, so you guys can still catch the show. That was Solana for you. We had XRP and Solana knocked off of the list. We've got AVAX and Hype to go over as well, and then a stock request was ASTS. So let's get to Hype, and then we'll take a look at AVAX. We have Hype here on our list. We were talking about that short potential on Hype. As you can see, we failed to hold the one line on our fib extension levels. Let's get this zoomed out to that higher time frame here. We got this 4 hour, trying to maintain our highs from back here. As you can see, this is a little bit of a zone to kind of keep your eye on. We do have our support down here at about 23.48. That was the lows here. It is pretty much exactly where we wicked to as well. I would expect a little bit of some liquidity to be down below us. As you can see, we really grabbed up some of that, but there would be some liquidity that would be below these lows from back here. So keep your eye a little bit lower if we're going to continue with this divergence from the rest of the market. When Bitcoin has got its dumps, as you can see, when Bitcoin has got its dumps, Hype has got its pumps. When Bitcoin gets dumps, Hype gets pumps. When Bitcoin gets dumps, Hype gets pumps, Hype gets dumps. So this is continuing with a harsher dump across the board. Anyone else getting a glitch? Yeah. Let me YouTube messing up. All right. Hype really trying to find some support back at the lows here. That was 27.48, and as you can see, it's really trying to retest on that right now. Let's get that horizontal ray pulled on up for you. That'd be an area to kind of look for a rejection at. Oh, wrong one there. Push the wrong thing. There we go. There we go. 27.48 being that area to potentially look for some continued resistance at. As we fell below that, really failing to see any kind of bottoming signs here on the 4 hour. We did have a bullish divergence that gave us a little bit of a push towards the upside, but still coming in with those lower highs. We've got these lower lows coming in as well, trying to hold that potential support line here, and we'll kind of have to see what happens with some money flow. We do have that 1 hour really getting that harsher sell off, starting to see just a few bottoming signs. We've got a hidden bullish divergence here. You've got a reversal signal, but you're starting to lose your volume as well. So not looking too positive here. You do have a little bit of a potential for a push towards the upside if you can get just a little bit of money flow coming on in. Hype has been seeing the harsh sell off, so I wouldn't fade. I would not fade this downtrend. As you can see, massive sell off, and this downtrend just continues. So keep your eye on some lower levels. As you can see, we've got a few kind of marked out here for the higher term time frame. This area directly above us at 27.48 is going to be a short-term time frame resistance level. Let's get that a little bit thinner for you. There we go. That's the lows from back here. We'll kind of unlock it, get it moved a little bit better. That's the lows from back here. 27.76. So that's where we get those candle bodies coming in at. I would look for some rejections there. We do have a little bit of buying pressure that was below it, but X is buffering for me. Well, now buffering. Oh goodness. Well, I really don't know what's going on, because now X is frozen. Weird. And then YouTube seems to be going fine. So what the heck? Who knows? Issues across the board, apparently. So let's get this zoomed on in. Take a look at that 15-minute in the morning. See if we can get some kind of a push towards the upside. Looks like really failing to get those bottoming actions here. X was working, but it started repeating, so I came back to YouTube. Kitchen on fire asking for the X. My live stream here. Oh, yep, now I see it buffering too. So yep, it is buffering just like YouTube. So I don't know what is going on with that. And then it's starting to mess up on YouTube all over again too. So